you've kind of really just blown up this past year or so.
I'd say this year my game's got to a whole different level.
On April 23, 2022, Leonard Miller declared for the NBA draft, joining Shaedon Sharpe as the second Canadian-born player in this year's class to jump straight from the prep school level to the NBA. This came after his week at the Nike Hoop Summit, where his combo of funky playstyle and outlier physical tools had scouts labeling him as the best player on the world team. And in the following weeks since, he started popping up everywhere on big boards and mock drafts. Operating as a point forward, he thrives when using screens as a ball handler. In a horn set here, his original plan is to go right, but with both defenders committing to his right side, he audibles, quickly spinning to his left where both defenders chase him, leaving his teammate with an open three. Part of what makes Leonard so effective as a ball handler is how he uses his off arm to maintain separation from the defender, popping back to create an angle to hit his teammate for the easy bucket. A common way to shut down ball screens is to blitz the ball handler, but with Miller standing just under 6'10" barefoot, he's able to again create separation with his right arm here and easily take the top off of the defense with a well-placed dime to his roller. Leonard often showcases just how special his touch is, floating in perfectly placed passes like this with his non-dominant right hand. This passing threat when receiving screens only matters if he can also be a threat to score off of them too, which he gets done in 3 different ways. The first and most effective comes when denying the screen. He usually sets this up by turning his back to his defender, then relying on his elite agility to quickly shift directions, using his inside arm to seal his defender into the screener. That ability to quickly change directions comes from absurd levels of flexibility, showcased nicely in this clip as his right ankle bends at an angle that's impossible for most, allowing him to open up his right hip to the basket in an instant, weaving through the defense for an open mid-range jumper. His second method of scoring comes when accepting the screen. While this area is still very much a work in progress, he does show flashes of 2 tactics here to create an advantage. The first is a change of pace, often slowing down or throwing in a hesitation move as soon as he comes across the screen before bursting forward in an attempt to throw off the defender's rhythm. The other is putting his defender in jail, essentially holding the defender on his back hip, preventing them from re-entering the play, but his lack of core strength usually prevents him from finding much success with jailing defenders. The final method is a simple pull-up 3 when defenders try to go under the screen. He's super willing to take these shots and makes them at times, but his shot mechanics off the dribble are a bit wild, which prevents this from being an efficient form of offense yet. There's so much inconsistency in his shot mechanics, which makes it challenging to diagnose exactly what the problem is, but the 2 biggest issues are that his lower body is often not in sync with his upper body, which leads to extra movement throwing off his balance, and the lack of defined set point before releasing. His shot can often be more of a one-motion heave towards the basket rather than a coordinated shot attempt. However, in his most recent performance at the Nike Hoop Summit, his 2 makes from 3-point range seem to have an established set point, which is a promising development moving forward. A lot of his long-term value lies in his upside as a jumbo initiator, but his most NBA-ready skills come as a secondary creator and play finisher. Operating as a trailer in transition here, he's easily able to get low and blow past this closeout, leaving him with 2 passing options as he gets downhill in a 3-on-2. He immediately locks eyes with his teammate on the weak side, causing both defenders to begin shading towards that option, and Leonard quickly fires a no-look pass to the now open strong side, hitting a wide-open teammate in the hands. Visual manipulation is something that's present all throughout Leonard's game. He's starting to throw an entry pass to the post here, but his actual intention is to bait this defender away from his man on the wing. The ball finds its way back to Leonard, who throws in a fake pass on the catch to create just enough separation for his jumper. He's clinical in his ability to get downhill on these closeouts, which is made potent by his polish and skill as a finisher. A head fake gets him past the first level of defense, bumping the rim protector before he goes up and using that space to sink home a right-handed finish. Or here in transition, bumping 5-star Villanova commit Cam Whitmore, then readjusting to finish around 2023's #1 ranked player Derek Lively for the and one. That touch expands out into the in-between game as well, where his floater is a reliable tool even with his non-dominant right hand here. He's always looking to find any advantage he can for his team, frequently catching his defenders asleep with backdoor cuts or quickly pushing the tempo as a transition ball handler. On the defensive end, his physical tools and motor present a lot of promise, but he's far from reaching it at this point. He'll show flashes of the impact his tools can have, quickly covering the gap here to block this shot, and it's easy to see how his motor can lead to a lot of forced turnovers, like this one executing a hard switch against the pick and roll. But a combination of inexperience and his team often deploying him as the point of attack defender in a myriad of zone coverages often lead to him falling asleep or following the ball around and forgetting his assignment. but he's not abnormally bad for an 18-year-old who's never played above the prep school level, and there's a lot of low-hanging fruit which could lead to easy improvement early on in his career. At an extremely fluid 6'10", Leonard Miller's blend of ball handling, passing, and finishing touch paired with his relentless motor and instinctive on-the-fly decision-making give him a sky-high ceiling, which gives him a strong case as a fringe lotto-level talent. His impact from day one will probably shine brightest in transition, on the glass, and when leveraging advantages created for him as he develops his shot and gains experience playing defense at a higher level. In terms of fit, true contenders probably won't prioritize his development enough, and a tanking team structure won't do him any favors as he takes a large step up in level of competition. We're looking for an established playoff team that isn't quite a true contender, with a reliable advantage creator for Leonard to play off of. On paper, the Raptors feel like a picture-perfect fit for the toolsy Canadian, but as Miller's stock continues to rise, they'll likely need to trade up to land him before their current first pick at 33. The Cavaliers look to be in good position to snag him at pick 14. They have reliable advantage creation through Darius Garland and a great team structure, but the lack of shooting between Allen, Mobley, and Miller is concerning long-term. The Bulls have a pick high enough to secure him at 18, a need for size and reliable advantage creators to play around, freshly off a season where they established themselves as a playoff team, which is why the Chicago Bulls are my favorite fit for Leonard Miller. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. If you want more content, YouTube thinks you'll like this video too.